TOA community, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Wednesdays with Robert. We are going to dive right into some good content here. So over the weekend, everybody, I think most of you know, about a month and a half-ish ago, my father passed away. Thus why we are doing Wednesdays with Robert. If you didn't catch episode 1, this is episode 2, go back and see episode 1. We talk about Tuesdays with Maury and how Wednesdays with Richard was kind of my day to connect and train and work with my dad, but calling it Wednesdays with Richard and then having me as the host seemed kind of odd. So we went with Wednesdays with Robert because Dad was always coming to see me, okay? All right, so this is episode number 2. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. The reason I bring all that up with Dad is this last weekend we had an estate sale out in Nevada City to help downsize for my mom so she could move, okay? In doing that, we had a couple of pretty unique opportunities. I'm gonna say close to 100 people that I got to see, okay, between the grocery store, the sandwich shop, and our estate sale. All of them over the age 65. I think the oldest person we saw was 95. The youngest person we saw was probably 50, okay? But most folks were around 60, 70 years old. None of them exercised, none of them, okay, except for one individual that we spotted. We didn't even get to talk to her, but I got video of her, and so we're gonna go through that a little bit. But I wanna start here. I go to the grocery store to go get sandwiches for Keegan and I during one of our breaks, and I noticed this individual, okay, skirting around the grocery store. This individual could not stand up. I was watching him, could not stand up. Noticed the aisle he's in, number one, chips and candy, this and that. I followed him in here. Cart full of junk food and booze, like just the posture that this individual had. This was one of 20 people that I saw in my 20 minutes in the grocery store that had posture and a body failing like this. This is a combination of gravity, applying itself to the body for years without proper resistance training or exercise. This is poor nutrition. I'm guessing poor sleep. I'm guessing that, does not hydrate enough with water instead of whatever else is in the cart. Anything else, this individual was a snapshot, if you will, of an unhealthy, unfortunately an unhealthy aging body that I don't want to see any people in my circle via the connection through this channel or the people I get to work with, etc., the coaches we get to work with. I don't want to see this happen to anyone, okay? It really, really bums me out. So to go on to a more positive side. Well, let's show one more negative, okay? One more negative. This gentleman here, this guy is, I forget what he said. He was like in his mid to upper 80s. This is at the estate sale. And number one, that kettlebell right there did not sell. We ended up keeping that here. Nobody even looked at it. I was really bummed out. We put a note on it that said, used by Arnold. And everyone laughed, but no one wanted to buy it. Anyway, poor posture on this gentleman. Did give me permission to use this video, by the way. Spoke with him a little bit. Really poor posture. When I mentioned, like, hey, do you do resistance training? He laughed and said, do I look like I do resistance training? That was an answer that we got over and over and over again. I asked a lot of people, okay? I asked individuals that had great posture. That one lady was like 67 or 68 years old. And I said, you have to resistance train. Your posture is really good. And she goes, I walk around, but I'm very active. She's like, every day I do stuff. I never sit down. I love that. I love it that she was active, but she doesn't resistance train. So that showed me, at least with the aging body, if you're active, it'll help you with an improved posture. Her gait was still really good, etc. But we met other like 60-year-olds that as they were moving about and such, they did not move well at all. And you could tell, like, boy, you look like this 80-something-year-old man, but you're in your 60s, okay? So while in the neighborhood, as we're continuing to ask people, one person says, oh, you know who you should talk to is this lady, and I forget whatever her name is. And as we continue to talk about her, Keegan and I go, oh, we saw her, okay? And so this lady is 94 or 99 years old, something like that. She's in her mid to upper 90s. And she walks 1.5 miles every day around this neighborhood. They said it's like a third of a mile, this loop around the community, and she does it 4 times every single day using these sticks, okay? She uses the sticks. And this is another topic. This is another thing that a lot of people feel like if you use hiking sticks, it means that you're a fall risk, that you're taking the less challenging route. that you have to use your arms to help you balance and coordinate. Like it's a dig or it's a negative to use hiking sticks. So in college, one more time, taking a look at her. In college, I got to do 2 different tests, a VO2 max and a Bruce protocol test, which are both fitness endurance tests to see what your maximum VO2 max, your maximum oxygen consumption is, okay? I got to do that test, and then the Bruce protocol is just a general fitness test that takes you through, I don't remember exactly how it goes, but you're at like a 2 mile an hour, 2% incline, and the next, you go for 2 minutes, and then it goes to 3 miles an hour and 4% incline, and then goes to 5 miles an hour and 6% incline, and it just keeps going until you can't keep up with it anymore. Eventually, you're sprinting uphill, and I was harnessed in, and I go until I like fly off the back of the machine, okay? So in both of those cases, while pursuing my master's degree, I got to do this. I was the only athlete in my class, so every time we got to sample or do something, I was the one that got to do it, which was super cool. I got to do Wingate, I got to do body fat analysis, dunk in the tank, I got to do bod pods, I mean all the stuff. I was the guinea pig, and I was totally fine with it because it helped me learn so much more efficiently by actually doing it, right, than just reading it or watching someone else do it. So I do the Bruce protocol test, and I get whatever my score is. And then we come back the next week, and I do it again, but I use hiking sticks this time, okay? So for the first half, I was so much more efficient with my my gait and my overall effort. I was working at a higher capacity because I got to use my arms. Now, you burn out sooner because you're using more of your body, but I'm utilizing my entire body to walk, which is typically considered a lower body-esque, cardiovascular routine. So I look at that and I go, well, if I'm only going to go out for a 40-minute walk, I'm not going to do a maximum capacity test, right? Or an hour walk or whatnot. Why would I not want to include more of my body on that? I work harder. So when we did the VO2 max, we found earlier in the VO2 max test that I was working at a much higher capacity because I was using more of my musculature, right? So I didn't go as long on my VO2 when I used the sticks because it was harder, okay? Does that make sense? Like everybody thinks that using these sticks, like it's a weakness. Like, oh, you can't walk right, so you have to use these sticks to help you stay upright. This particular individual, this lady, is using hers to help propel her and move her along just as much as balance her, okay? Because she sees like, I need my entire body to help me go out and be active. And that's the beauty of this is you can go out walking, especially where I'm at. We've got hills everywhere. When you engage your arms and power along, I was, number one, walking at a faster clip. The fastest miles that I have done on hills, granted up here, not going downhill, but going up hills, right? The fastest one I've done, I've used sticks. And they're difficult. I'm doing like 14s while I'm rucking, which if you're a runner, 14's ridiculous. You're walking, which I am, okay? But like an average rucker, if you're a good rucker, okay, rucking is walking with weight. If you're a good rucker, you'll do 15-minute miles. That's a military standard. They want you to do 12 miles in 3 hours. So that means you got to do 15-minute miles, right? And if you can do that, you're a stud, okay? I've done that one time. All the times that I've tried, I've done it once, okay? Since then, I worked a conditioning component. Anyway, long story short, that's really difficult to be able to do. So I did a 14-minute mile once, and I was using sticks, and I was going uphill. So I was driving with my arms to help me hustle up this hill. I did a whole mile uphill and had a 14-minute. So it's showing me that you can work quite a bit harder by utilizing more of your body. That's not a negative, okay? That's a good thing. Keep that in mind. Yes, it helps you balance. Yes, it'll help you coordinate your body, but in the same time, okay, you're going to be able to get more work out of that. All right, so changing gears, you all know, what I want to get out of this world, all my efforts in this, my dharma, as I like to say, my purpose in life, my dharma, is to help educate and share and to educate. And so some other things I wanted to show you that are very motivational, I feel like, are during our trip, my wife had a chip eating contest and she crushed it. She goes to the single to start and then, she goes to the double. She goes to the double stuff and the crunch, and there's championship time, 12 seconds. We had such a good time. This was during one of our breaks, obviously, and she's eating her chips and she was just goofing around, kind of eating them fast. I'm like, yo, slow down there, Tiger. And made a joke about it being a record. I break out the camera. Next thing you know, off we go to the races. But no, to share something really, really cool with Keeg. This was just the other day. 205 pounds, okay? She did this. This is called a hip thrust. And we've been working on, she's got a slight imbalance in one of her hips and her hip strength. We've been working on her overall hip strength and helping her develop, lower body musculature, but also improve her lower body strength to be able to run more efficiently, walk more efficiently, etc. So she's cranking out, I think she was supposed to do 10. She ends up doing 15 of these. Upper body engagement, those nice high bridges. I mean, those are legit, really good hip thrust at 205. Not a lift that we train all that often. Just started picking this back up, I'd say in the last 2 weeks, and just having some PR attempts. So absolutely love that. I wanted to share that with everybody. Give a little shout out to the missus there. Keegonski crushing it. Okay, one more shout out is to my guy. Where is he? My guy, Jarvino, is this him? Is this it? Yes, this is it. Okay. Jarvino is an awesome trainer, specializes working with older adults and people with disabilities. He's over across the pond in London.
Hey, come on now.
And this is my guy here. Just watch
Squeeze
this.
it and then pull it out. Open it.
This lady had a stroke.
Come on now. Go on, girl. Go on. Go on. Go on. Go on. Go on. Come on, girl. Yank it.
One of the biggest challenges they said in there is that she can't open doors by herself. So they're practicing pulling, okay? They're practicing pulling the refrigerator door open. Notice the delivery guy behind him. Delivery guy just chilling, just not in a hurry to get in there, okay? Jarvino's going through, he's working foot position, he's holding her up. This lady had a stroke, has a disability. She's pulling. And the smile on the delivery guy, how happy he is that she just achieved that. Totally cool waiting. This gentleman, if you don't follow him, please go check him out. J7 Health Jarvino. Go check him out. I absolutely love him. He's been on my webinars before with me, and just salt of the earth, like the sweetest human being. One of the comments I really feel that is very telling, very genuine, is he's like, "You'll never see a picture of me without my shirt on." You can tell he's a power lifter, number one. He's very, very fit, okay? Could be running around doing photos and videos with his shirt off, just looking jacked and being a stud, but he doesn't do that. He's like, it's all about my people, and that's what I love. I love that, right? Now, I look at that too, and you'll never see a picture of me with my shirt off. I'm not a huge fan of doing that. It's nothing against people that do. It's just not my thing, right? But on occasion, you will see me put up videos of something where overcoming cancer, which I never say I'm a cancer survivor, I'm a surgery survivor. I didn't have to go through treatment, okay? Had I gone through treatment, maybe I would have had a different mindset, but I just had to survive 2 pretty significant surgeries, one really significant one. So I will wear, the cancer survivor a little bit with that, but it's more of a surgery survivor, okay? But going through 2 of those, and then with my hips and my lower back, there's a lot to be learned and shared there. And so you will see videos of me typically doing a sit to stand or a deadlift or something that individuals that have had hip issues or back issues in the past or have hip replacements, etc., where they feel like life cannot carry on. And that's where I found ways to be able to do that. And I want to be able to showcase that. That's the one time that I'm going to share something that's spotlighting myself is something along those lines, okay? I like to share about my family. I like to share education for sure. I like to share about my clients, and I like to share other awesome experts and pros like my man over there. So go check him out. I think you'll love that. To kind of round this in, again, this show, this whole thing is supposed to basically be like, what have I found interesting and what have I wanted to share and educate about over the last 7 days, okay? So the other day, just the other day, we saw this post come up about Robert Kennedy Jr. and him working out at the Mecca. This is Gold's Gym, right? Keegan and I were just there a couple weekends ago. And he's there, doing some incline bench press. I do a little breakdown in my other video. I talk about the actual weight. Is that respectable? Does he train his legs? Maybe got some chicken legs going on there. But for 69 years old, this is a great upper body physique for sure. A very good, healthy individual overall, really taking care of himself. The cool part, and where everybody's like dumping on him, is remember, we're not talking politics. I'm just talking about the people I see in the video. They make fun of him only being able to do 9 push-ups. And we do workouts that are called the impossible push-up, right? And the impossible push-up, you do bench press, you do chest flies, you do French presses, you do bench dips, and then you flip over on the ground and you try to do push-ups. And if you can't do one for this round, I win. And if you can do one, you win. And we battle it out. I think he's doing something very similar to that, where he's doing this upper body, burnout, where he's strip setting or tearing down from other lifts. And then he gets to the end and they're like, just do as many push-ups as you can. And he gets like 7, and then he starts kind of buckling at the knees. And you can see, for how fit this individual is, he can do way more than 9 push-ups if he's fresh, okay? People that know fitness and know exercise understand that. And they know that if someone that's this fit is only able to do 9 push-ups, he did something immensely productive prior to that to exhaust him and burn him out. So when he got to this point, that's all he had left, okay? So that led us into, amongst my clients and some other colleagues online, who is the fittest president? I know Robert Kennedy Jr. is not the president, he's a candidate, but we wanted to kind of dive into this. So I started looking for articles on who the fittest president was. And no one was a clear winner, but many of the same names were mentioned over and over again. So this one, it's a couple years old, 2020, November 2020, but it was the one that collected I think there were 10 or 8 or 10 different articles I looked at. It kind of collected the majority of all the same names in one article. So let's dive into this a little bit. Okay, Ford was on every single list. Gerald Ford was on there, super stud, played football at the University of Michigan, played for the Packers and the Lions. When I mentioned that to my father-in-law, who's like a mass historian, this guy, there's hardly anything he doesn't know. He didn't know that. He didn't know that he played, and he went to law school, right? So 25 years, Ford, rough and tumble politics. He was a very physical, very fit dude. And, playing football at that time and era, like he's got some little pads on his shoulders and on his thighs. I don't think they were even wearing helmets, gang. I don't think they had leather helmets on at this time. Like Al Pacino, hoo-ha! Al Pacino, any given Sunday, at least he played with the leather helmet era. I don't think Gerald Ford had anything protecting his dome on there. Then we get into old Herbert Hoover, the 31st president of the United States. You know why I know that he's the 31st president of the United States? Because it was ingrained in my head on a report that I did on him back in the 7th grade, because I went to Hoover Dam, because I've been to Las Vegas, people, more than any other human being on earth that doesn't live in Las Vegas. Every sporting event, every conference, every bodybuilding, everything is in Vegas. And when you live in Nevada, I was raised in Nevada, on the Nevada side in Lake Tahoe. When you were there, every sport, every national championship, every state championship, every regional qualifier, everything is held in Las Vegas. So before the age of 18, I think I'd been to Vegas 20 times. At now 42, 43 years old, I have been to Vegas like 124 times, okay? I don't know what it is, but it's a lot. I've been there a lot. And Herbert Hoover, I went to Hoover Dam, I loved Hoover Dam, and I decided to do a report on him, okay? Little did I know, he was a medicine ball expert. He loved to throw medicine balls around. He would take his entire cabinet out to the tennis court and they would do medicine ball training. So pretty cool back in the 20s and the early 30s throwing medicine balls around. Good old Abe. Everybody knows Abe is a axe-wielding, vampire-killing president. If you haven't seen Abe Lincoln, Vampire Killer, you're missing out on an American classic film, folks. It's terrible, but it's great. Terribly great. One of those entertaining movies that you should see at least once. Anyhow, good old Abe was very physical, very fit, 6'4", one of the tallest presidents. I think most people think he was like 6'6" or 6'8", something like that. He was 6'4". Okay, physical, he wrestled in his youth. He was very physical, and, amongst the land where he was raised and so on, but very much so known for his axe wielding and chopping of trees, etc. Okay, good old Ronald Reagan. Good old Ronald here. Ronald was the one that I found that actually did like more traditional classic resistance training. Now you're going to see a lot of pictures of him. It's no secret, Ronald Reagan is my favorite president of all time. Again, not a huge political statement here. I just love the guy. I'm from California as well. He was our governor and our president, obviously. So I love Ronald. Okay, I'm a big Arnold fan too. But both of them worked together with the Special Olympics. Arnold and the Shriver Foundation and such was coming up. He was heavily involved, and so Ronald went over and said, hey, why don't you come over, and then eventually pass the torch to George W. Bush Sr. with Arnold to make him like the president of the physical fitness not physical fitness award, but the physical fitness standards or something like that. And so Arnold was kind of like the honorary captain, would get out there and work out with everybody. Well, Ronald was the one that kind of helped initiate that whole thing. He wrote in the National Fitness Trade Journal, I have a copy of it, Keys laminating for me to put up in here, wrote a whole article about how he stays fit. He loves the weight room, and they had this awesome quote in there, I think we put it on here, about how it's not about how many reps you're doing, it's about how heavy the load is. And I'm like, yeah, man, that's what I love. I loved all of this, that he's getting in here tested to see what kind of maximum strength. Look, he's in like his suit, right? His suit pants and a tie, and he's maxing out some of these over. And what president is, you're not gonna love this hopping on the preach curl, right? To crank out some curls. Anyhow, good old Ronald Reagan was a fan of the weight room, loved to get in there and lift some weights. Then we get into Theodore Roosevelt, good old Teddy. Look at Teddy's neck right here, just in this one. Guy doesn't have a neck. I think he was a wrestler, is what I thought at first. Turns out he did jiu-jitsu. He was the first brown belt in judo, first president to earn his brown belt in judo. Trained jiu-jitsu to lose weight, apparently, when he was running for a campaign. If you haven't rolled with someone, that's a official technical term for those that get on the mats and do jiu-jitsu with people. If you haven't done that before, not an easy sport. Okay, you're constantly being choked. You're constantly attempting to get something on your body broken. Very, very difficult. Nothing that I want to deal with. I will stand at a distance and let other people get into hand-to-hand. But good old Teddy wasn't afraid to get in there and mix it up a little bit. Then you got W here, okay? W, I don't think W did a whole lot of weightlifting. He said that when he wasn't running, which was his passion, okay, that he would get in the weight room, and he talks about that in here a little bit, but he loved to run. He was notorious for outrunning his Secret Service, which is pretty cool. However, he must have had a faster like 5K or a 10K, because at age 46, he runs a marathon, the Houston Marathon, in 3:44. That's like 8:40-minute miles, gang. That's pretty fast, okay? That's pretty fast. That's super respectable. For his age, at that time, would qualify him for the Boston Marathon. So that's a pretty damn fit individual. I think his best mile that I found was in the 5s. Okay, his best mile time, 1 mile run, he was in the 5s. That is fast. That, I don't know if he did that while being president, but during his life at some point, dude could run, okay? And then number 1 on quite a few of the list, Obama. They talked about how athletic and how dynamic and how capable he was, that he looked like a natural athlete on the basketball court. And you saw lots of different documentaries and videos of him shooting hoops with Michael Jordan and everybody else. Now, he's from Chicago. I know he's a White Sox fan. Everybody holds that against him if you're a Cubs fan, etc. But loved the Bulls. That was his team, especially the dance, the documentary of the dance. If you haven't seen that, I think it's like 8 chapters or something like that. And it takes that double three-peat, you know, the 3 and the 3 that the Bulls did in the 90s. And they talk with Obama in different clips of that. Him shooting around, playing with the guys. I think he even plays Michael one-on-one and kind of hangs with him for a little bit. Definitely an athletic individual. Couple of pictures of him with his shirt off. Dude's got some pipes and some traps on him. I was super impressed. So good old Barack, man. I'm proud of you getting in the weight room and getting some work done, okay? All right, so as we continued through this, there were a couple that did not make the list. We're gonna dive into that first, but I wanted to look back. I looked at this and I said, there've got to be some photos of our presidents in the weight room or doing something physically fit that actually showed some of their muscular development. We always see them in suits and ties, this and that. So I went digging and I found some pretty cool ones. So I think so here's FDR. FDR, who knew it, was like a natural strongman. Homeboy's got some pecs on him here, okay? And then Teddy, look at Teddy. I knew when he was a jiu-jitsu, I knew that he had this big, thick neck on him. I knew, and Abe, come on. Abe's out there chopping trees. That's why he's got these delts. Look at those delts. Look at that pectoral separation. This dude. Kennedy, now we're talking, okay? Now we're talking. Look at the delt development on Kennedy over here. What a good-looking dude, too. Full head of hair, jealous. Oh, Ronald Reagan, Ronald coming in with the Russian singlet on to get his wrestling days on. Oh yeah, look at. We have a friend named Brad. Brad, if you're watching this, I think this is a picture of you, and they just put Bill's face over it. I love it. This is my favorite one. When I said my other video of why President Biden falls, when I said that I thought he was frail, I take it back. I take it all back. Homeboy's jacked. My favorite part of this picture, number 1, is Arnold looking at him over his shoulder in the background. But they even got the thumbs right. When like Jay Cutler and those guys, when they would flex, they would tuck their thumbs in and get. I love this picture. Obviously, these are not real. Okay, I think this artist. I put his name up there on the very first one, so you could see who did this. There were so many of them. I mean, I just picked out some of the more recent presidents and some of our favorites. We had so much fun with this. Do I need to make a cut? I think this is Vince McMahon's body, right? From the WWE, WWF. I think that's Vince McMahon's body with Donald's, because we all know this is how, yeah. When I said that we noticed that somebody didn't make the list, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is a good one to finish with too. Fit and running, fit and running, fit and running, fit and running, and what are we, bowling, throwing darts? Anyhow, I wanted to have a little fun. We'll finish with, oh boy. I told you Barack had some traps on him, right? Look at this, it looks like a video game. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this. I had fun. My goal is always to keep this under 30 minutes. I know I said last time 20, but I had a lot of pictures I want to get through. I hope you enjoyed it. If you had some fun, if you enjoyed it, leave me some comments. We had a lot of support for the first episode. That's why we're doing another one. I think we're going to keep rolling with this. I like it. I got to say, I like it. I like being able to, feature some other people and talk about some topics and hopefully entertain you a little bit too, keep you entertained, while we're going through, but actually learn some things, maybe about history, maybe about the body, maybe et cetera, kind of dive into this a little bit. So anyhow, much love to everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe, ring the bell, please share with your friends, help us grow the channel, all that good stuff. We much appreciate it. Have a great day and continue to fight your good fight against sarcopenia. See you next time. Peace.